mock-ups of spatial places? Would it be a big or small towns or just villages? OMER, you do this kind of checklist, and then what? It's a lot of money to build, rebuild, restore. Anyhow, you are kind of bad messenger when you come with your checklist, isn't it? So how does Israeli local communities react to these lists of improvement you provide them? So please, Omar, how this technology or this your checklist attitude works, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you for this incredible day and conference about the challenges of inclusive design in the urban environment. As you said, I'm going to explain all about HEC and what we do here in Israel. I'll just begin. I'll say that the first time I was in Latvia was in 2018.
Okay.
And I fell in love with Latvia in the landscape, in the architecture. And I can't wait to come back, and hopefully, if we can enhance accessibility together, it will be even better.
And you know it yourself, it's very quick to fly over back to Latvia again, and then we can fly to Israel in a few hours. So one day it will be again possible, but still, nevertheless, now we are connected digitally. So anyway, experience could be transferred, please.
Yeah, okay, so we are here in Tamar Accessibility. My name is OMER LUBELSKI. I'm the CEO of Tamar Accessibility. I'm the founder of HEC, and I volunteer as a water ski instructor for people with disabilities. And most important, I'm a father and a family man. All of my life has been around accessibility. My mother is one of the first accessibility consultants in Israel. My sister got married, and she married a trainer, a dog trainer who trains dogs, for guiding dogs for the blind. My wife is a teacher for kids with special needs. And all of my life was about accessibility. But when my life happened to me, I was also an accessibility consumer. My father got sick with cancer and passed away, and we needed accessibility. My mother is handling over 15 years of a chronic illness. My wife had a stroke, and as a consequence, she has epilepsy. And me, as an Israeli, I was a combat soldier in the IDF. I participated in 2 wars and countless operations, and I'm handling PTSD, and I had some dark years in my past. So accessibility is one of the building blocks of my life, also in the professional matter, and also as a consumer. In Tamar Accessibility, what we do, we are an accessibility consultant firm. We work with architects, with project managers, with entrepreneurs, cities, municipalities, to ensure that their service and the physical structure is all accessible for people with disabilities. This is an example of the building that we did. It's a student residence in the Technion, a university in Haifa, which we made accessible. This is Shalva Family Center for kids and youth with disabilities and their family in Jerusalem. They were in the Eurovision in 2019 singing a song. This is a building in the Tel Aviv University for natural science. It got a lot of prizes and it's very accessible. And we're doing accessibility because more than 1 billion people around the world have some kind of disability. If we take Europe, so if I have a group from 10 to 16 people, at least one of them have some kind of disability, if we can see it, or if we can't see it. So accessibility is very important. It's important. So it doesn't matter if I have a disability or I don't have, I have the right to take my kid to the first day to school, to be by my wife when she's giving birth, to order in a restaurant, to vote for my president, and to contribute to my community. These are the birthright that I have, and we need to ensure that everybody can participate in all life aspects in an equal, independent, and respectful manner. But the problem is not with the new building, it's with the already built environment. The awareness that we have today, we didn't have 10 years ago, 10, 20 years ago, 50 years ago. And all of the buildings and the spaces between the buildings are inaccessible. The sidewalks and the crossings and the entrance of the buildings and all the guiding lines and going through the spaces is the real problem. So what we did at Tamar Accessibility, we built an app. App is called A-Check, and the goal is to make accessibility assessments to see what needs to be done in order to ensure inclusion for everybody. To clear or to speak more about the app, I will show you a short video in Latvian. We translated it for you, so it will be more clear and it will be better than my English. And here is a short video, and I will speak about it later.
Cilvēki ar invaliditāti veido aptuveni piekdaļu pasaules iedzīvotāju skaita.
1/5 of the world inhabitants are people with disabilities. So it is important to organize the ways how they can feel accessed in the public. So A-Check is a tool to ensure that the requirements are fulfilled. It will help also the entrepreneurs and heads of organization to make sure that this accessibility is ensured at all levels. And this system is checking the situation in every building, if there are any differences, and also provide recommendations for adjustment to ensure accessibility for people with disabilities. In some countries, this is a mandatory, and this evaluation of the object is done in 4 ways. First, enter the address of the object, then choose necessary conditions, choose a specific points you want to check, and the last, look at the recommendations and conclusions. As soon as it is done, you can connect with through any computer to export the document in some seconds. This is done, and the next step is to implement the recommendations and make sure that every objects are available for everyone. A-Check, everyone desires and deserves to receive your service.
So, what we do in A-Check, we get to an asset, we take our phone, our tablet, we get out the app, we map all of the accessibility components, we check for the compliancy, if it comply or not comply to the requirement, we make a recommendation, what needs to be done, then we can do a remediation plan, including the costs, how much will it cost to really make the place accessible, we can monitor the execution of the plan, and we can analyze the space according to accessibility, so we can understand at the end of the day for the consumer, how is it accessible for me? Each and every one of us has special needs or different needs. And the needs of a wheelchair is not the same of a need of a blind person or a person with a mental problem or a cognition problem. So each one has a different need for accessibility. The adjustments he needs to get equal service are different. So after we do the full process in A-Check, we can really understand how the space is accessible according to each disability. And then we can really give the information, and we can do the whole process to ensure inclusion in the physical space. We started in 2018 in Israel. Since then, we did in Tel Aviv. We checked a lot of businesses to license them for a business permit. If they're accessible, they will get a business permit from the Tel Aviv municipality. We did all of the checks with A-Check. In Jerusalem, with A-Check, we checked all of the playgrounds, stadiums, and small public areas. In Modi'in, a city in the center of Israel, we did all of the sidewalks and crossroads. We did 2 of the biggest hospitals in Israel. This is like an output of the app, of all of the remediation plan of part of the hospital, and it includes everything, and it's an output of the app. And we did all of the Jewish agency buildings in Israel. Around the world, we started, COVID was a problem for us, but still in Brazil, we have all the app in Portuguese, we have the database, and we checked over 100 buildings in a university near Sao Paulo. In Chile, we finished the pilot, we have a database, we have all the app in Spanish. and now we are checking like more than 100 buildings, 180 buildings in the municipality of Santiago. And now we're starting also connections in Canada and with a couple of NGOs to implement the database and hopefully to go there. As well, we have plans for 2022 in Europe, but until today, we A-checked more than 1,000 buildings, made remediation plans, and told them exactly what needs to be done to be an inclusive space. Our goals for 2022 is partnership and to expand into Europe and North America. We want to integrate with the smart city systems because a city cannot be smart if it's not accessible. We want to go to round A to accumulate money to do more things in the future. We want to build an AI machine that can automatically decipher accessibility from pictures and from plans, like from PDF and DWG plans, to see if it's accessible. And these are the goals for us for the near future. Every day we're expanding and we're doing more checks with A-check. And we can really see the fruit of what we're doing. And our goal is really to reach out all around the world and help the 1 billion people with disabilities to get an equal and independent and respectful service from all over. And I'm really honored to be here speaking with you, and really hope we'll have a chance to work together and really move forward accessibility. I can say that in Israel, Access Israel is leading a revolution in Israel for the last 20 years, and there's a lot of work that still needs to be done, but a lot of stuff have been done, and it's beautiful to see. If you have any questions or things you want to talk, I'm here and I'll be happy to answer questions. The A-check team is what you can see here. These are the people that make the dream a reality. We're expanding every day and working with partners all over the world. But these are the core people that made the app possible. And I'm really looking forward to working with A-check in Europe, in Latvia, and all over to ensure accessibility. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, I will be glad to answer.
The system that is developed in different platforms could be useful, and thank you actually for making this video even in Latvian, so it could be translated and implemented into everyday life. Just a very quick question. So when you do these new standards, you approach private companies who owns this house, or do you try to approach also municipalities? So it's a matter of public spending, how willing they are. Okay, here is a checklist, and it just makes me more things to do, to improve, to plan your budget. And this is, political question now. And so what is the attitude when you come with this checklist of the public persons who should operate with taxpayers' money?
Well, first of all, I will say that when we have a customer that doesn't want to be accessible, it's very easy. We smile and say goodbye. Mm-hmm. But when somebody wants to be accessible, there's a question what accessibility means for his service. And that is something we need to analyze, and we need to take under consideration the regulations about the subject. We need to pour it all at once, and we need to build the database according to fit the right landscape we're checking. So all the databases we have today, they are built upon regulatory demands, but they have expanded into specific needs of our users, and it can be corporations and it can be municipalities. And in the reports, you can also have a division of what has to be done and what is a recommendation, what's nice to have. So then the customer can really choose what to do and what not to do. And if anybody chooses not to do something that is that you have to do by law, so it's a problem, even if he uses A-check or don't. Yeah. You have to comply according to the regulations of the law. And the law in a lot of places is written very, very complex. So our job is to simplify the data, to make it accessible and visible, to put pictures and to categorize it in a simple way. When you get into a building, you can map the accessibility components in an intuitive way, and not like doing it with a rule book.
Great. Sounds very logical. So hopefully one day we will have this great tool actually implemented into Latvia's reality. Up until now, it was not based on a kind of business and needs. It was more of initiative of NGOs here in Latvia. So let's make it like normal if there is a normal supply.
Well, I can say that I came with an expedition with Access Israel to Latvia in 2018.
Yes.
And the feedbacks we got from the people we met in Latvia was incredible and was great. And I really think the Latvia is the right place and the right moment to do this. And I really want to thank you for inviting me and for making this day and this conference. And hopefully we'll see improvement all over the world.
Sure.
Because there are over 1 billion people with disability who needs access to everything.
Of course, if Latvia and the European Union wants to be a kind of sample for, let's say, green deals and all the carbon neutral initiatives that we want to achieve in 10 years, actually, so why not also in these accessibility standards? We should do ourselves and also to show it to others how to achieve it. Thank you very much, OMER. Good luck for you, son, and all.